Grab your popcorn, bestie, because this one's steaming hot. The kind of story that makes you gasp, clutch your pearls, and say, no way that really happened. But oh, it did. Right there, in New York City, under a blinding storm of flashbulbs. Picture it. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex stepping out of a glossy black SUV. The crowd gasps. Cameras explode. Reporters scream their names like it's the Oscars. But something's off. You can feel it. That tight jaw tension you can spot even through the screen. Yeah, it was thick in the air. Harry looked stiff, like every muscle in his body was bracing for impact. Meghan, ever the professional performer, smiled like her life depended on it. Perfect teeth, perfect posture, pretending everything was perfect. But honey, that smile wasn't joy, it was survival. Then it happened. The moment everything shattered. From somewhere in the crowd, a voice sliced through the noise. Stop using our children. And just like that, the fairy tale turned into a thriller. Harry froze, eyes darting, that royal composure cracking for a split second. He grabbed Meghan's arm, not sweetly, not romantically, but with urgency, like, we need to get out now. The cameras caught the smiles, the hand holding the fancy outfits, but what they missed, the truth. Those weren't smiles of love, they were shields. You know the kind, the grin you flash when your heart's cracking, but you can't let anyone see. And if we're being honest, the warning signs were there long before that night. Remember that awkward Kevin Costner event a while back? Harry's body language was screaming, "Get me out of here!" Meghan tried her best, reaching for his hand, leaning in for that picture-perfect couple pose. But Harry looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. That was the soft launch of their downfall. New York? That was the sequel, the tragic one. Now let's talk about that red carpet clip everyone's been obsessing over. Meghan, ever the actress, turned toward Harry with that practiced gaze. The smile, darling, we're on camera, look. But Harry didn't even flinch, didn't blink, didn't see her. His body was there, but his soul, gone. It's heartbreaking when you realize that if she hadn't been holding his hand, you wouldn't even know they were together. He leaned away slightly, exhaled when she spoke. Subtle things that scream volumes. You could almost feel the weight between them. And Meghan? She knew. Oh, she knew. But breaking character isn't her thing. Rule number one in her world, never let them see you crack. The event that was supposed to be their big comeback, their power moment, turned into a public unraveling. The laughter felt forced, the chemistry flat. It was like watching two people attend the funeral of their own fairy tale. The lights were dazzling, but the spark between them, gone. To understand why Harry looked so emotionally vacant that night, you have to rewind a bit, back to Paris. Ah, Paris, the city of love, right? Well, not for them. That trip changed everything. It was supposed to be Meghan's grand return to fashion royalty. Balenciaga, flashbulbs, front row glamour. But behind the scenes, whispers started flying. That jaw-dropping outfit she wore, not gifted, borrowed. Now, in the fashion world, that's not a small thing. It's a quiet humiliation. When brands lend you pieces instead of giving them to you, it means one brutal truth. Your value's fading. You're not the it girl anymore. You're the guest borrowing sparkle. Then came the tunnel. Yes, that tunnel. The Pont de l'Alma. The same place Princess Diana's life ended. Meghan's team filmed her there, wrapped in a scarf, smiling softly like she was stepping into some poetic legacy. She later claimed she didn't realize where she was. But come on, everyone who's followed her story knows that couldn't be true. Meghan studied Diana like a syllabus. That location wasn't an accident. It was a statement. To Meghan, it was symbolism. To Harry, it was sacrilege. That was the moment something inside him broke. See, Harry wasn't distant in New York because of one bad night. He was distant because Paris happened. That city stripped away Meghan's illusion and, in the process, stripped away his faith in their story. The tunnel video wasn't a tribute, it was a trigger. When the clip surfaced, insiders say Harry lost it. Not publicly, never publicly, but behind closed doors where the real words fly and wounds get made. He asked her, "How could you?" How could she turn the place where his mother died into content? Meghan, calm as ever, brushed it off. It's just a clip, Harry. It's not that deep, but to him, it was that deep. That tunnel was sacred ground, and for the first time, his anger wasn't directed at the tabloids or his family. It was at her. That fight, it wasn't their first, but it was the loudest. The kind of fight that leaves echoes in the silence that follows. For years, Harry had defended her, against his family, the press, the world, but now he was defending something he didn't even believe in anymore. She'd crossed a line he couldn't explain away. When the shouting stopped, he didn't yell again. He went quiet. Because when love keeps crossing boundaries, silence becomes the only piece left. That silence followed them to New York. When she reached for his hand, he didn't pull away, but he didn't hold it either. That's not indifference. That's exhaustion. The kind that seeps into your bones when every fight feels like déjà vu. Meghan later spun the tunnel moment as therapy, saying it helped Harry face his trauma, but insiders called it what it was: damage control. She turned his pain into content, and maybe that's when he finally saw it. The truth that what once felt like love now looked like performance. By New York, the man beside her wasn't angry anymore. He was empty. The sparkle was gone, replaced by resignation. What the cameras caught wasn't awkwardness. It was the quiet understanding between two people who know the story's over but aren't ready to turn the last page. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because this story isn't just about love anymore. It's about power, identity, and the crumbling empire that once had the whole world watching in awe. See, even when the romance started to fade, one thing still glued Harry and Meghan together: the titles. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Sounds grand, doesn't it? But behind the royal shine, it's their last piece of magic. For Meghan, that title isn't just fancy words on a palace letterhead, it's oxygen. Without it, she's just Meghan Markle again, the actress from Suits. And let's be honest, Hollywood has a short memory. Without Duchess in front of her name, the invitations dry up, the brand deals disappear, and the world moves on. That title is the one thing standing between her and irrelevance. Insiders whisper that King Charles has quietly discussed stripping those titles away. He's done it before. Remember how quickly he cut ties when the Queen passed? And although the late Queen already took away their royal duties, the titles were the last thread keeping them tethered to the monarchy. And if Charles ever cuts that string, Meghan's entire brand could collapse like a house of cards. And she knows it. That's why she stays visible. Every charity gala, every public speech, every look at us being glamorous moment, it's not just for publicity, it's for insurance. It's her way of saying, I'm still relevant. I still matter. I'm still the Duchess. A royal aide once said, if Harry lost his title tomorrow, you'd see how fast her empire crumbles. And maybe that's true, because Meghan's power isn't built on who she is, it's built on who she married. But for Harry, those titles mean something entirely different. They're not about fame, they're about loss. They're what's left of the world he gave up. Walking away from her, from the chaos, would mean facing an unbearable truth, that he sacrificed a kingdom for a love story that might not survive the third act. So they stay. She stays for relevance. He stays for pride. It's tragic, really. Two people clinging to each other not because they're in love, but because letting go would mean admitting it wasn't worth it. And that's exactly what played out in New York. The titles still make them look like partners on paper, but in person, they're strangers. The way they walk that carpet, rehearsed, mechanical, polite, was like watching a dance choreographed by obligation. The smiles, scripted, the touches, performed, the chemistry, gone. Because here's the secret no one wants to say out loud: it's not romance anymore. It's PR. Every step they take together is a strategy. Every glance a brand move. And when the lights go off and the cameras stop clicking, what's left between them is silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the heavy, suffocating kind. The kind that hums in the background when two people share a room but not a connection. Every fairy tale ends differently. Some end in a bang, others in a whisper. And this one, it's fading in slow motion. There won't be a messy public breakup or a screaming match on the steps of a palace. No, this is subtler, sadder. One day there'll just be fewer appearances. A missed anniversary post. No matching outfits at the next event. A seat between them at a dinner table, and the world will quietly realize they're never seen together anymore. When that happens, Meghan will do what she's always done best: reinvent herself. She'll shift the narrative, launch a new project, a new cause, maybe even a new identity. She's a survivor that way. She knows how to pivot pain into publicity. Harry, though, he's different. He's not built for reinvention. He's built for retreat. So when the end finally comes, he won't fight. He'll vanish, maybe to Africa, maybe to California's quiet hills. Somewhere without flashing lights or microphones. Somewhere far from her, far from all of it. And maybe that's how it should be. Their story began like a movie. Royal romance, forbidden love, rebellion against the crown. It had everything: passion, defiance, glamour. But it's ending like something far more human, with exhaustion, because that's what this is now. Not scandal, not betrayal, not even heartbreak. Just tired love, the kind that's been stretched too thin for too long. The New York humiliation wasn't a random bad night. It was the final echo of something that had been breaking quietly for months. maybe years. When Harry stood beside her, jaw tight, eyes distant, it wasn't anger in his face, it was defeat. The kind of defeat that doesn't shout or cry, it just accepts. He's no longer fighting tabloids or family or fate. He's just existing beside her, waiting for the curtain to fall. And maybe that's the saddest part, because once upon a time, they were unstoppable, united against the world. Now they're just two people playing roles they no longer believe in. The cameras may still catch their smiles, the tabloids may still spin their stories, but behind the flashbulbs lies the truth no one can deny. The fairy tale is over, and when it's finally done, when Meghan finds her next reinvention and Harry slips quietly out of the spotlight, there'll be no big announcement, no final bow, just the quiet absence of what once was, because some couples go out in flames, others fade away in silence, and Harry and Meghan, they're fading, slowly, gracefully, tragically, into the silence they once ran from. That's how their royal rebellion ends. Not with a crown, not with a happily ever after, but with two broken hearts standing on opposite sides of the same stage, pretending the show isn't over. A love that burned too bright, too fast, and finally ran out of air.